All right, we got Brent in Costa Mesa. How are you?
We got Brent in Costa Mesa. All right, so do I need to turn down my...
Yeah, turn it down.
All right, guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just get right into my question. I've seen quite a few episodes of the show, and a while back you addressed the question of if the Big Bang's real, who started the Big Bang? Because what you did in that specific episode is provide a link, a domain to go to, and I took a look, and guy had like a decent idea of how it began, scientifically provable. And from what I gathered from it, he was trying to say that when there's nothing, you have a vacuum, and just like taking all the air out of a bottle of wine, for example, is if you actually take it all out, there will be an explosion. The glass will explode. So I guess that goes back to the laws of physics. And so I'm calling in to ask who came up with the laws of physics, who put all that there.
What makes you think? Go ahead.
Yeah, the laws of physics, any scientific law is not something someone came up with. These are observations.
They're descriptive laws. They're not prescriptive laws. Nobody wrote them like thou shalt not exceed 55 miles per hour on the freeway. This is just a description of how particles interact in the universe. Okay. You could validly ask, why are the laws of physics as they are instead of some alternative? But the question, who wrote the laws of physics, or who created the laws of physics, that is a nonsensical question.
Okay. All right. So, in your opinion, I did watch this video, but unfortunately, I'm a pretty smart guy, but unfortunately, it's above my head. A lot of the terminology I've never heard of.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about Lawrence Krauss's A Universe from Nothing?
I believe that's the one. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So is there a way to a little simpler terminology to describe how the Big Bang happened?
You're calling the wrong show.
Yeah, I'm not a cosmologist, so I guess Lawrence Krauss is probably the best guy to break it down for you. I mean, this is what he does.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely took a look at that. Do you mind if I just ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, so apparently there's been, we'll call it, for lack of a better word, missing link bones found that kind of show a difference from, let's say, a human and a monkey, right? To my knowledge, something like 24 highly incomplete skeletons. Okay, so we've got 24 skeletons of what would be a missing link, but how many T-Rex bones do we have? And it's like significantly more. And I'm wondering why we have such incomplete let's call it missing link bones, such incomplete and so few, whereas where we have very complete T-Rex or whatever dinosaur you want to specifically talk about.
Wow, there's so much wrong with that question. It's really kind of hard. First of all, T-Rex is a single species for which we have a number of examples of, but we don't have all the transitional forms between T-Rex and its precursors. So you're comparing transitional forms between two species over time with a single species, so you're comparing apples and oranges to begin with.
Okay, you're right. I probably didn't phrase that correctly, but I think you kind of led me into the question I was trying to ask, is why don't we have, maybe a better question would be, why don't we have those transitional forms?
We have we have lots of transitional forms, and one of the key things is that everything is a transitional form. Why don't we have more fossils in the fossil record? It's because fossils are very difficult and only occur under certain circumstances. So we're lucky that we have any at all. But we don't need fossils at all to demonstrate common ancestry between humans and the rest of the great apes. I mean, we can do that with genetics alone.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, curious why there aren't fossils though.
Well, because fossilization only occurs under very specific conditions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you think everything that ever died became a fossil?
To be honest with you, in some form, I suppose, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, they're pretty rare.
Okay, I had no idea.
Not only that, but in some cases where there may be a bunch of fossils, you can't get to them because they're buried in rock. I mean, it's not like we're going to go dynamiting the entire planet in the hopes of getting down multiple layers of rock to find fossils. We find we do it the easy way, partly because we're lazy and partly because it's practical, and that is you go to areas where, due to tectonic shift, et cetera, the plates have moved such that older rock is now up on top where it's handy for us to get to. You can't always get to the older rock.
Okay.
But anyway,
right,
thanks
well,
a lot.
Yeah, that definitely, I'm glad I could learn something new there.
Sure. I'd
with that
recommend
being-
stopping by Talk Origins, and there's a lot of good information there about all this stuff. But thanks so much for calling, Brent.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
The Catholic Church is not a necessary organization. It is a nonsensical organization